feeling good. He's feeling good. He's feeling good.
What's up?
We're
Come together.
Yeah.
How's it going? How's it feel?
Feels great. He's finally got the justice he's deserved.
Did you think it was going to happen?
Sorry? No, we think that this should have happened probably on day one, but the point thing is it happened. So
had the tweet of the day, which is great. Podarts is brilliant, and tweeted out the following: "Today is a day to celebrate the jury system and the fair administration of justice. Tomorrow begins the relentless effort to get Alvin Bragg the fuck out of that office." That's exactly right. Not just Bragg, but all of these left-wing.
Well, now that the man is obviously gone free, we need to talk about what happens afterwards. Now, guys, you guys obviously just saw that. You guys saw BLM. And don't worry, BLM will be coming up in one of the other videos I have scheduled for Wednesday because I'm a little bit behind, so I'm going to be posting 3 instead of the normal 2. But here's the thing. What comes after is probably going to sound a little bit unbelievable. So by the time you guys get to watch this video here, it would have been roughly 48 hours since the not guilty verdict of Daniel Penny. A trial that, in my honest opinion, was, and I think it's pretty obvious it wasn't just my opinion, but pretty much the broader internet's opinion, pretty much the broader audience's opinion, even people who live in the city of New York, they could obviously tell that this case where it was obviously political. Now, I don't think I need to go through the, the what ifs of this entire scenario. That right there will be in video number 2 because obviously BLM is at it again. And of course, as you guys can see in the B-roll footage, there were some protests going on in the city of New York the day that the verdict came out. Like I said, it's been a couple of days. And of course, I'm releasing this video right here on Wednesday. However, the political futures of Eric Adams and Alvin Bragg is what we're going to be talking about over the course of this video. So make sure you guys stick around for the full bit. I'm going to try to narrow it down as much as I can. But I think that this case, when you actually look at what's been going on in the city of New York, I wouldn't say that it's completely out of the realm of possibility that at least one of these two ends up unemployed come at the end of 2025. You see, 2025 is the New York City mayoral election race. Eric Adams is on the line, and of course, also the district attorney. And of course, there's going to be a referendum on him and also Alvin Bragg. And given the city of New York's current condition, especially with crime, I mean, dude, we've covered a lot from that city, from the migrant crisis, from the fact that you had, let's just say, certain people who were killers that were found in other states that had been let go by the city of New York, that right there being under Alvin Bragg, the district attorney. I'm pretty sure that everybody in the whole country would love to see Alvin Bragg lose his job. However, will New Yorkers say no to Alvin Bragg? Well, that right there is what we're going to be talking about, as well as Eric Adams, who I mentioned earlier. But let's take a look at the here and now. So this right here is what Eric Adams is saying post-verdict.
Daniel Penny was found not guilty of the killing of Jordan Neely. I wanted to get your thoughts on that. And then another question. Last week on our morning show, you left the door open seemingly to rejoining the Republican Party. I wanted to know why you didn't say you're a proud Democrat. Do you find issues with your own party?
First, as I stated when this incident first happened with Jordan, that's my son's name. And so, these incidents that happen in the city is not only professional, but they're personal, and we take that with us. Jordan should not have had to die. And I strongly believe, as I've been stating, probably from day one, we have a mental health system that is broken. When you have someone repeatedly going through that system, that's a signature of failure. And we need help in Albany and in the city council. We can't sit back and mourn the loss of someone that is caught up in this system when we're not taking the action every day. But a jury of his peers heard the case, saw all the facts and all the evidence, and made a decision. And I joined D.A. Bragg in stating that I respect the process.
There's also a bit where he said that Jordan Neely, that his son was named Jordan, and that he could kind of see, it was one of those moments of, I could kind of see my son in this case. Look, what happened to Jordan Neely should not have happened, but who do you really and truly blame for this? Like, who the hell is really and truly at fault? Well, I say it's really the family more so than anything else. And of course, we've got these experts out here who are not experts, who claim to be experts, who claim they've talked to prior service Marines, who say that the choke was unnecessary, even though it's pretty daggone obvious that it's an air choke and not a blood choke. Like I said, we'll be talking about that when we talk about BLM tomorrow in video number 2. The fact of the matter is this right here. Eric Adams was singing a completely different tune back then. And also there is one more thing to go along with this. The homeless situation in New York City. Well, it seems to me like this entire situation could have been, could have been prevented altogether. Let's go back and watch this news report that came out shortly after the incident involving Mr. Neely and, of course, Daniel Penny. Let's watch this.
Mayor Adams acknowledged the city failed to adequately help Jordan Neely, the homeless man who'd been choked to death on the subway last week.
CBS 2's Allie Bauman explains the mayor's plan to better address mental health in the city and the criticism against it.
1 week after the medical examiner ruled Jordan Neely's death a homicide, the fate of Marine veteran Daniel Penny, seen holding Neely in a chokehold on the subway, is still unknown.
It is because it's our solemn obligation to assess the facts and how gravely and seriously we take that we don't speak lest we impair any investigation.
Calls for Penny's arrest are growing impatient.
We are now doing to Jordan what we did to him while he was living. We are dehumanizing him.
That's right.
We are not providing what he needs in death, even as we did in life.
Public advocate Jamani Williams joined mental health advocates Wednesday, demanding the city invest in the very resources that let Neely fall through the cracks. The 30-year-old subway performer had been arrested dozens of times and labeled by police as emotionally disturbed.
Jordan had been in the hospital.
Yeah.
If you place someone in a hospital, when they're released with no continuum of care, it doesn't really help. And we don't have enough beds, and we are now cutting the beds that we do have.
Mayor Eric Adams, who last year directed police to involuntarily hospitalize the mentally ill deemed a danger to themselves, vowed Wednesday to meet with outreach workers about how to better help those in crisis.
Jordan Neely did not deserve to die.
Adams pushed Albany to pass his Supportive Interventions Act to codify the state's role in mental health intervention.
We need the tools to get people into treatment at critical moments when they are simply unable to self-direct.
It's frustrating to hear the mayor just saying the same old.
New York Civil Liberties Union Director Donna Lieberman.
He's approaching this as an issue to be dealt with force, coercion, and not with the empathy and supportive services and housing.
The mayor stopped short of saying Daniel Penny should be charged in Neely's death. Penny's attorney claims he was acting to protect himself and others. In Soho, Allie Bauman, CBS.
Okay, now that news report right there was roughly 2 minutes and 27 seconds. You guys know me. I normally don't play a clip that long, at least not anymore. It's not like it was in the earlier days when I was first on YouTube. But like I said, there'll be changes coming in 2025. I'll be explaining that there in my Christmas video that will probably come out sometime next week, because I'm probably going to take about a nice long 10 to 14 day break, regardless of what the algorithm says I need to do. But still, though, the point is this right here. A lot of people were already complaining about the homeless issue. They were already complaining about the mental health issues. And of course, there are some people out there who would defend Eric Adams by saying that he simply inherited all the problems of Bill de Blasio. Bill de Blasio, many people will consider to be the worst mayor in the city's history. And of course, there was also people who say they believe he was worse than David Dinkins. But still, though, passing the buck and continuing to tell people that, yeah, it was my predecessor's fault, which I haven't really heard Eric Adams say, is probably something that New Yorkers are probably going to be, well, he hasn't really blamed de Blasio, even though de Blasio is the real reason why it is so much of the city is in dire chaos. Adams is, in the ways, making it worse with cuts to sanitation, cuts to the police department, all the normal stuff that we've been talking about on this channel, and, of course, also the migrant crisis, which, of course, Eric Adams recently came out and did an interview with CBS New York and basically signaled that he would, in fact, be willing to work with incoming ICE Director Tom Omen. Let's watch this.
Orders are and see how do we collaborate to deal with the securing of our borders and making sure that we can ensure that this city retains and continue to be the safest big city in America.
But what level of cooperation are you willing to give him?
Well, and that's the most important question. Many people are speculating. In order to answer that question, we need to first find out what the mission is. I know what my mission is.
What is your mission?
Public safety. That has always been my North Star. Prior to the election, even when I communicated to the president and his team, the current president, I stated over and over again, we have to deal with the small number of violent offenders who are making their way into our country. In particular, it's a very dangerous Venezuelan gang. It is not the overwhelming number of migrants and asylum seekers. And many of these gang members are preying on migrants and asylum seekers also.
So do you want those gang members, if you get them caught up in a crime, once they've been arrested, should they be deported before trial?
And I want to hear what the Board of Czars' beliefs is around that. My belief has always been, I want you, when you're arrested, to serve your time, because you're not giving justice to the person who was victimized by them, because then if they go out, they could come right back into the country. So I want to hear from the Board of Czars and engage in the conversation and tell them some of my ideas.
And of course, there's also the indictment that's hanging over his head. So I'm pretty sure that Eric Adams is going to be willing to cooperate. However, I do want to say this really quick about the migrant crisis. In the city of Chicago, the migrant crisis obviously affected the way people voted. They voted to the right. However, they didn't get an opportunity to vote against the current sitting mayor, Brandon Johnson. He's not up for re-election until 2027, and there have been efforts to recall him, whereas someone like Eric Adams has managed to get through this process without getting recalled. And seeing how it is that he's been voicing more and more and more against the opposition, meaning this current administration, or he's been calling it out and saying no more migrants, you need to stop this crap. It seems to me like Eric Adams could have possibly won some of his, let's just say, some of the former support that may have left him back. But of course, it then goes back to what you guys saw this weekend, and of course, the BLM mop. Like I said, talk more about that in video number 2. However, something tells me that Eric Adams, especially given this recent bit that he did on Fox News, let me roll this for you.
Ever consider rejoining the GOP?
The party that's the most important for me is the American Party. I'm a part of the American Party. I love this country. This is the home of the free, the land of the brave. My 19-year-old nephew died on the fields of Vietnam, protecting what this city and this country represents. And that's the party I'm going to always be a member of. And I did it as a police officer when I wore that bulletproof vest for 22 years. And I'm going to do it with this blue suit as the mayor of the city of New York.
All right. Well, we are looking forward to your meeting with the so-called border czar next.
Spectrum News, my bad. Sorry about that. Seems a little bit more open to other ventures. 2026 is the year that I would watch, especially with Letitia James being on the ballot, the sitting Attorney General of New York, who, by the way, is still out here screaming we need to get the orange man, whether it be criminal or civil.
He's called me venomous. We will fight back to your attempt to bring Trumpism to New York City. He's called me disgraceful. Of the fact that they stole the Supreme Court seat. An illegitimate president and an illegitimate member of the United States Supreme Court. He's called me radical. Listen, yes. We know he's crazy. Yes. We know he doesn't have a sound mind. Yes. We know he's out of control. Yes. We know he's losing it. Yes. We know his days are numbered and we will come together. He's called me a racist. We've got to stand up to an administration which is too male, too pale, and too stale.
Yeah, I think people are tired of this venomous woman too. Yeah, I don't see this right here being that big of an issue for New Yorkers going forward. It seems to me like Trump hate has got some fatigue to go along with another type of fatigue. But that right there, of course, brings us to the topic of crime fatigue and Alvin Bragg.
All of these left-wing woke prosecutors who care more about skin color and how it's going to play with their constituencies than they do about justice.
Yeah, and honestly, when I saw that they were Black people on the jury, I was very relieved because I knew that they would play a counterbalance, or I suspected they would play a counterbalance to any woke white progressives who are the main driving force behind the re-racialization of everything in the woke leftist mindset. This is being pushed by people who are progressive and upper class and people of means who never have to deal with the consequences of these insane policies like defund the police and Alvin Bragg and decriminalization of, horrible stuff that impacts working class Americans every day. And meanwhile, it's working class Americans, working class people of color, overwhelmingly in New York, who overwhelmingly favor more moderate policies and more moderate people like Eric Adams. So I think that you're totally right again, Megan, and that we really need to start seeing this moment for what it is, a moment being ushered in by Donald Trump, and then all of these down ballot and downstream effects of being able to see ourselves once again as the United States of America, who are organized primarily around the desire for every American, regardless.
I had no intentions of putting this inside these videos, but I came across two said clips, one from Glenn Beck and one from Megyn Kelly, where the topic of Alvin Bragg and subways in New York City got brought up, and this situation that recently happened in New York City where Daniel Penny got off. And like I said, I'll talk more about that case in tomorrow's video on the BLM, because obviously there is some fatigue going on there too. These people are losing their power. We'll get to that tomorrow. And of course, all the additional stuff like chokeholds, crap like that. But the point is this right here. People have had enough of Alvin Bragg. They've had enough of crime, especially given the fact that these people have to take the subway at some point in time every day. And of course, you've got people out there who say that you should just go ahead and get used to what happens on the subway. But after a while, when stuff like what you guys saw affects and impedes someone's daily lives, and it does it all the time, after a while, you will begin to get upset and you will begin to get pissed off. So who the hell will you support? You shall support the person who is saying that I'm going to put an end to all the subway nonsense. We're going to refund our police. We're going to get subway cops up there, more of them. We're going to get transit cops, stuff like that there. And we're going to put an end to the nightmare that, of course, is the crime in New York City, and also the drug epidemic, and also the homeless epidemic, and also to go along with that there, the mental illness epidemic. But let's watch some of this right here, because I think this right here kind of hit the nail on the head.
If you've been in New York City, and this is I think it's a weird experience for anyone who's never lived there or worked there, as we have. But it's very much a normal part of your life to go on the subway and have a crazy person get on the subway and do something crazy while you're on the subway in an enclosed metal tube. Yeah. It is a weird experience, and you get really used to kind of looking at your shoes and looking the other way and acting like this thing that would have been the story you told your friends every single day if you live in any other city. You just ignore it and act like it's not happening.
I'm trying to remember the comedian that has a special happy face. He's so funny, and he talks about just getting on the subway in New York, just trying not to get high on crack. He's like, somebody comes into the subway and they're smoking crack. And then somebody will be, hey, you can't do that in here. Like the guy cares. Oh, my gosh. Right. This is so unlike me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly. People are going to be fed up. And also, to go on top of this, the Daniel Penny being found not guilty may obviously motivate some people to actually get involved to try to make some kind of change in the city. You could see some very, very interesting things, of course, happen in the year 2025. So I'm going to talk more about that in videos 2 and 3, because obviously we got to talk about BLM, and we also got to talk about the United Healthcare CEO thing again, the follow-up to that there, because more and more revelations, of course, have came out. And of course, there's also more and more terrible reactions to said incident, but let's get back on track. One of my subscribers left a comment in the comment section about this, saying that it was actually not a victory seeing Penny getting the acquittal, that people would be scared to defend themselves. And it's true, people will be scared to defend themselves. However, you got to understand, after a while, these types of situations do become contagious. People are sick and tired of the racial politics is what it is. And I think that people finding out that they've had loved ones that died because Alvin Bragg had let somebody out of jail, I think this type of stuff right here is becoming more and more national, more and more frequent. And I think that New Yorkers are probably pissed off about this. And I think a lot of New Yorkers are probably saying, you know what, I don't think I want this guy to be the district attorney anymore going forward. Now, that's not me saying that Alvin Bragg will lose, but let me put it this way here. When you have put all of your efforts into going after Daniel Penny, a Marine who simply stopped a potential subway attacker from actually attacking and hurting people, and you let the two guys who were not white, who were assisting Mr. Penny, when you let them off, it looks pretty racial. It looks like there's an agenda. It looks like there's a motive. And then you turn right back around after that and you try to get the judge to contradict the charges when you have one charge drop and then you try to get him on the second, which, by the way, would have caused them to lose the case on appeal, meaning that Mr. Penny would have walked either way. It looks like you're incompetent. It looks like you're an oaf. It looks like you're a fool. And it looks like you're nothing more than just a good old-fashioned bigoted racist. Let me just go ahead and say this. I think that Bragg's time, I think that Bragg's career, I think it's over. I think it's over. At this moment in time, it looks like it's dead. He didn't achieve what it is that he wanted to achieve. And also, to go on top of that, all the criminals that were let out under his tenure, all the soft on crime policies, all the softness on crime, letting all the criminals out. And of course, all the crimes that have been committed due to this guy being lax on criminals. And of course, the racial politics too. I don't see him surviving 2025. Of course, when he loses, they'll scream that it was racist. But of course, we have that hurdle to climb in 2026 should it happen. Whereas Eric Adams, on the other hand, probably finds a way to survive. That's just how I see it right now. I wanted to release this video, guys. You tell me what you think. Tell me how you feel about this. Where I want to get you guys' thoughts on it. Please leave a comment in the comment section. Also, to go on top of that, there will be 2 more videos that will be released to go along with this one right here. This video right here will be coming out at 11 o'clock. The other 2 videos will be coming out. One will probably come out at 2 or 3 o'clock, and the other will be coming out a little bit earlier, a little bit later on in the evening. Basically, what they're going to be is my thoughts on BLM post the Daniel Penny trial, because I need to split up. I actually wanted to include it in this video here, but I need to kind of split things up. And of course, to go on top of that, there's also going to be the video on the United Healthcare situation and the update to that there, because let's just say the reactions have got me thinking that, yeah, something's probably on the way in the near future. And of course, it also ties into the BLM video too. So make sure you guys stick around for each video that comes out tomorrow. Please hit the like button, subscribe, share the video, sign off, and I'll see you guys later.